Hello and welcome to our second video for our OOP project progress video. And my group and I, to just give a recap, we were making a bullfighting game as we previously mentioned in the last video. What we did last time was we added a bull and the person on the screen. We created an asset file and uploaded that to the sprite cow to get its coordinates. And for this week, what we have done so far is made an updated asset file, which is basically the master asset file for now. It includes the three states of the bull, and they have been reflected because as previously discussed before, our bull is going to move left and right, and the same goes for our person. It's going to move left and right. And we also mentioned something about adding a crate to the bottom of the screen that we will show you shortly towards the end of the video. And we have some knives and Red Bull that will be used later on, and lives to represent the number of lives remaining for the bull and for the person. Here are, as you can see, are the 6 states for the person. If the person is gonna move towards the left or towards the right, they're gonna change accordingly. We have added if conditions for that. The way we are checking that is in this piece of code, you can see if the right key is pressed, it's gonna pass the integer 1 in the function. 1 means it's moving right, and over here, as you can see, if z equals to 1, then it's gonna change the sprite cow coordinates to the right motion. And if 2 is being passed, which means the left key is being pressed, then it's gonna show the person moving towards the left. This is how we implemented that concept. The next thing that we had done was generate knives, and half of this concept has been implemented. Let me just explain you what we are planning to do with the knives. We have 2 different types of knives in our games. Knives that can move left if the person is facing left, and knives that will be generated from the right if the person is facing towards the right. For now, we are still working on the left one, and once that is fully implemented, we will use the same idea for the right knife. The code for the knife, how do we know if it's moving left or right? Okay, so we first have to take the x coordinate from the person, because wherever the person is standing on the screen, the knife is supposed to be generated from that x coordinate. So the function over here, banda ke thar x, it's supposed to find the x coordinate for that banda, so that the knife is generated from the same x coordinate, and the y coordinate is going to be same for the knife every single time because it's generated at the same height. And we cannot generate knives from standing on top of the crate, or you can, like, it's not going to affect the bull. Okay, now I will show you how our game runs so far, what we have done, and explain to you. Okay, so here's the main screen as discussed before, and once you press on the screen, we have the person standing here. The images are a bit off right now, like, we will get that sorted soon enough. And we have added a crate to the bottom of the screen. The idea of this crate is that when the person moves towards the crate and they jump on it, the bull is not allowed to hit the person and harm them in any way whatsoever. And as you can see, if I'm pressing the right key, the states are changing accordingly. And once I press the left key, the state changes and the person is facing towards the left. We still have to add the collision factor and the knife factor. And also, you can see over here the output's being generated 210. If I move it towards the left, it goes to 170. These are the updated x coordinates for the banda that we talked about earlier. And I don't know if you mentioned before, but let me run this again. The knife is being generated upon the click, and it is thrown towards the end of the screen. As discussed before, we had 2 different types of knife, the left knife and the right knife. And this knife was being generated this knife was being generated and thrown to the right of the screen. We will implement more of this idea when the person presses a certain key on the keyboard. Suppose the A key, the left knife is going to be generated, or if the person presses the D key, the right knife will be generated. And this is what we have done so far. We will see you next week.